I have a special treat for you guys. I am going to do a quick tutorial on how to make my favorite dessert, and that is a tiramisu banana cream pie. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First thing we want is, let's go over the list of ingredients. I have banana cream pudding pie, which is an instant one. I have some whipping cream. I have mascarpone cheese, which is absolutely critical for tiramisu. Instead of using lady fingers, which is a standard for tiramisu, we're going to use the Nilla cookies, the ones that you use for banana pudding. We have some coffee that my sweetie brewed for me. It's extra strong dark roasted coffee. We also have, I didn't have any cocoa powder, and you want the actual cocoa powder. I didn't have any, but I had the cocoa niblets, the nibs, which is actual cocoa, and I just put it in my coffee grinder, and I grounded that up. And then we have 3 cups of milk. I'm using 2% milk, or you can use whole milk. Soy milk will not work for this because it won't thicken up the way it's supposed to. And I have some vanilla extract. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put 3 cups of 2% milk in this bowl. That's 2, 3 cups of 2% milk. You can use whole milk if you want. I'm going to put that to the side. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up this box of the cream pudding. And we're going to whisk this into the, and this milk is cold. That's one of the things that's really important, is that this milk is cold. We're going to slowly whisk in the pudding. Go ahead and get that in. Whisking that in, and it's going to start thickening because we're using the instant one. If you didn't use the instant one, it's not going to thicken up real quick. You're going to have to cook it, then you got to put it in the refrigerator. And this is kind of a cheat. This is how you make it really quick, right? We're going to mix that up real nice, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add like a tablespoon of vanilla extract, and I don't have a tablespoon with me, but I'm just going to use like a couple. I used like 2 topfuls of the vanilla extract. 2 of those in there. All right. Mix that up. And it's starting to thicken just a little bit, very slowly. The next thing we're going to do is we want to add, I have a pound of mascarpone cheese here. I'm going to actually add half a pound, half of this to this mixture, half of the container, and I'm actually going to fold it in. Like, I'm not really going to mix it because I don't want it to I don't want it to break up too much, so I'm going to just kind of fold this in. All right, like that. See how I just kind of folded it in? But I don't have lumps of it. The one thing with tiramisu is you have to do it when you're making the custard, and this is kind of a cheat, right? When you're making the custard, you have to do egg yolks and sugar. Because you're using that banana pudding, you don't have to use all of that because that's kind of already in it. You're already getting the custard. So this banana cream is actually your custard that you're going to be using for it. Okay, so I'm mixing that up really good, smashing out all of the little lumps, which is that mascarpone cheese, which is a key for tiramisu, right? And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our whipping cream. Let's close this up. It doesn't matter what kind of whipping cream you use, but we're going to take the whipping cream and we're going to fold the whipping cream. So with tiramisu, it tells you to use heavy cream. Absolutely use heavy cream if you're making a traditional tiramisu, but because we're doing our cheat recipe, and you see what we're doing, we're just folding the whipping cream into that custard, which is going to give it a really fluffy fluffy texture. You see how we're folding it? We're folding it because we don't want it to lose its fluff, right? Its height. So we're just folding it in really nicely. I'm going to use the entire container here. Right. There we go. Folding it in. Do you guys see that? So instead of using the whipping cream, look at the texture. Look at how heavy that is. Right? That is what you want. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, let's get this out of the way. We're done with our whipping cream. We're done with our mascarpone. The next thing we want to start is we want to start our layering. So I have a glass container here. This is actually going to make more than one. But you want to, it's better to have more than less, right? So we have our coffee. Let's move this out of the way. Right? And now we want to start cutting up our cookies. Our base is going to be our cookies. And we want to start cutting up our bananas. All right. Put this over here. Oops. Okay. Let's do one more. And I'm just starting with, 2 bananas just to make sure it's better to have more on hand than less. Starting with 2 bananas. And you want to cut them up the size you would cut them up for a banana pudding. All right. Which is this size. All right. Cut that up. Okay, so the key with tiramisu is that coffee flavor, right? So we're going to take, instead of the ladyfingers, like I said, we're going to use the vanilla cookies, which is for banana pudding, and you're going to dip it into the coffee. Dip it into the coffee and then layer it. What we're going to do is we're going to put the flat side down. As you can see, you layer it in your dish, whatever size dish you want to use. Dip it into the coffee, leave it for a couple seconds, right? Because you want it to absorb that coffee flavor in the cookies you want that coffee flavor to be in the cookies. All right? So we're layering it. That. Keep layering. If you find your cookies are breaking up, it's okay. Just soak them for less time. But you want to get that, make sure you get that coffee flavor in the cookies. Okay, almost. All right, and the next step is you're going to layer the bananas. Right. Layer the bananas. Like that. So I have a layer of bananas in there. And then the next thing is you're going to take your custard mixture and you're going to layer it. Really nice layer in there. Like that. Make sure it's covered all the way. That. Cover it up really good. And then you're going to do another layer. That's the cookies. If you want to make this go faster, you can totally dunk more. I'm going to dunk 4 at a time. Right? And you just spread them out. Hands are clean, of course. So you can use your hands. Dunk 4. Bring them out. This recipe is really forgiving. Okay, let's dunk some more. Bring them out. You just don't want to soak them for that long because they will dissolve in the coffee mixture. Let's take those out. Just line them up like so. And over there. Okay, and now we're going to do bananas again. Okay. And you can do whatever fruits you want. You don't have to do banana. I just like banana. I think banana with the coffee and the cookies and the custard like really balances it out really nicely. Do another banana here. But you could use strawberries, you can use blueberries, you can do mango, you can do whatever you want. I wouldn't put mango with coffee. I would say whatever you would like to go with the coffee, what you think would taste, whatever fruit you think would taste good with coffee, that's the fruit that you can use. Or you could just make a traditional tiramisu without the fruit, right? And if you don't want to use the banana, you can just use vanilla pudding, right? Alright, I'm going to get all these on here. So that's 2 layers. You can go as many as you want, but I'm just going to go 2 layers. And then I'm going to go more custard on top. Alright, like that. Custard, make it really nice and smooth. Make sure everything is covered up. And I also like to tap it a little bit, so that custard kind of goes down in between the cookies and the bananas. Right, there we go. So that's my last layer, and the next step, and the last step, is you're going to take your cocoa powder, which is not sweetened cocoa powder, it's just cocoa powder, and take a sifter, and you're just going to put it in here and just dust it. Dust the top of it, just like that. What I've done before is I actually even put like a little template on top, like in the shape of a flower or a letter, and then I used the cocoa powder and it kind of made a design on the inside. So that's it. There is my tiramisu pudding cream pie. You want to put it in the refrigerator for about 20 to 30 minutes and then serve. Enjoy. Thanks.